Hello everyone, I hope you all are fine. So today I am here to discuss with you chapter number 4, that is the new chapter for you, the structure of atom. So in this chapter we will study who discovered the atom, what comprises the atom, and earlier what was the conception among scientists and the world that actually what is the basic composition of the matter. So we know matter comprises all the particles, or all the particles they are made up of matter. They possess some space, they possess some volume, either it is definite or it is indefinite, and matter is made up of tiny particles that we call as atoms, as you had studied in chapter number 1. Atoms, they make up molecules, or we can say basic composition of each and every particle present on the earth, present in this universe. It is atom, and atom make molecules, molecule make up bigger molecules which further form compounds and so on. So how this atoms they were discovered? Actually in the primitive times, in the earlier times, it was considered that there is one indivisible particle. Indivisible means which cannot be divided further, and that particle Maharishi Kannad, he proposed a term Parmanu. Parmanu means atom, this one. After that other scientists they proposed that the tiny object present, that they gave a specific term atomos. However, this idea was discarded afterwards in the 18th century. In 19th century, in the year 1803, Dalton gave his atomic theory. According to Dalton, he said that all the objects present on the earth they are made up of the atoms. Then he said atoms they take part in particular chemical reaction. All the atoms of one kind they are similar in shape and size, and they do have same weight, while the atoms which are different they are having different weights, their shape and size is also different. One thing he clearly said, that atoms are indivisible. Indivisible means they cannot be broken down. But now with the recent research, it has been proved that atoms are divisible. We can break down the atom, and those particles of the atom they are known as subatomic particles. And what are those subatomic particles? They are electrons, protons and neutrons. So his theory failed. What he proposed? He proposed one idea which he gave, that all the particles they are made up of atoms. That was correctly taken, but rest others like atoms they are indivisible or they have similar weight, that was not up to the mark. So that's why his theory was rejected. Now next we are going to start with our subatomic particles, that how the discovery of subatomic particles took place. Now we have to understand how the cathode rays they were discovered, how the subatomic particles they were discovered. Subatomic particles, the discovery that was first of all carried out by William Crook. He used the cathode ray tube. Actually, what is cathode ray tube? It is a long tube, you can see on the board here. It is a tube which is sealed from both the ends, and both the ends they are connected to a terminals. Two terminals are there. They are known as electrodes. One is called negative terminal, another one is called positive terminal, and these terminals they are connected to a high voltage battery, and that battery it is having potential difference nearby 10,000 volt, and this discharge tube it is also having one vacuum pump which is used for lowering this particular pressure inside the discharge tube. But actually, what is discharge tube containing? Discharge tube is containing any particular gas. That gas could be hydrogen, helium, neon, any particular gas is present. And when the current from the discharge tube is passed, what is observed? It is observed that from this very electrode, from the negative electrode, when current passes towards that very electrode, there is production of a ray. The rays are produced, new set of rays are produced, and those rays, they are known as cathode rays. Now, why they are known as cathode rays? They are known as cathode rays because these rays, they originate from cathode. They originate from this very terminal, which is negative in nature. You can see this negative terminal is attaching to this negative. So this one is also negative. That positive on the battery, it is positive and negative on the battery, it is showing in the experimental setup. So that right one is positive and left one, this one, it is negative. So from negative the rays are originating and they are traveling to that very side. So it is referred as cathode rays. These rays were referred as cathode rays. After that, J.J. Thomson, he actually proved this very, he proved that all the properties of the cathode rays, they are similar to the subatomic particles that we call as electrons. What he did, he again used the same, that very discharge tube, and in the discharge tube he actually kept one a rotating pedal, and when the current was turned on, the pedal started rotating, which confirmed that these particular rays, they are made up of material objects. Now Thomson, what he did, in order to prove that these particular rays, that is cathode rays, they travel in a straight line, what he did, he placed one object in the path of those rays in the discharge tube, and he observed that when the rays, they were discharged, they produced the shadow of the object in their path. So production of the shadow means that confirmed that cathode rays, they travel just like the light rays, they travel in a straight line. So this confirmed their rectilinear propagation. With respect to anode rays, they were discovered by Egon Goldstein. He also carried out the same experiment as it was done for the discovery of the particular cathode rays, but in that very experiment and the experiment performed by Goldstein, there was one basic difference, that he used a plate consisting of small holes. In the discharge tube, he placed that particular plate, and what he observed, that the particles that passed through that particular perforations or holes, they were referred as these anode rays or canal rays. He afterwards proposed the name. So far we had discussed that cathode rays, they consist of electrons which are negatively charged, and anode rays, they are comprising of protons which are positively charged. Electrons negatively charged, protons positively charged. When the mass of electrons and protons, that was calculated, and mass of atom was also known, that was known earlier than the discovery of electrons and protons, that is atomic weight was known, and it was found that mass of electron plus mass of proton, E negative symbolizes electron, P for proton I am writing here, it is not equal to mass of atom. Mass of the atom was still larger or greater. This was larger, higher than the mass of electron and proton. Now again scientists thought that something extra is present, but what extra was present, nobody was knowing at that particular time. So it was later on discovered by Chadwick. It was later on discovered by Chadwick that atom also comprises one another particle which we call as neutron. And this neutron, it is having mass same as that of proton. Mass of neutron and mass of proton is always equal. But the charge on neutron, it was having no charge. It was neutral in nature. So in this way, it was discovered that neutron is also present. So we have now three subatomic particles. Which are those? First one is electron, that is negatively charged. Proton, it is positively charged. And neutron, it is having no charge, neutral in nature. Mass of electron, it is smaller than mass of proton, and mass of neutron and mass of proton, that is always equal. So this thing you have to keep in mind. Now discovery of neutron. The neutron was discovered by an experiment carried out by James Chadwick. In his experiment, James Chadwick discovered that neutrons are the particles having no charge, and in the experiment what he did, he used beryllium. Beryllium is a metal. A very thin paper of beryllium he selected for carrying out the experiment, and on that particular beryllium paper or beryllium foil he bombarded alpha particles, and when the alpha particles they were bombarded, they were targeted on the beryllium foil, there was the production of neutral particles, and along with that carbon particles were also produced. So those neutral particles, they were having no charge at all, and such particles, they were having mass equal to the mass of protons, which was discovered later on. So these particles were referred as neutrons. Now three different particles have been discovered, means so far in the past they have been discovered. First one, that was the particular particles having no charge. Here it is shown neither with the positive nor with the negative sign, and they were known as neutrons. Second one, they were having positive charge and they were known as protons. And the last one, that is having negative charge, that is present in the orbits, present in the shells, they were known as, or they are nowadays known as electrons. So atom overall we can say it comprises of three particles. That is, first one it is electron, then second one it is proton, and the last one it is the particular neutron. Number of electrons, they are always equal to number of protons. That you have to keep in mind. Always the number of electrons, it is equal to number of protons, and neutron number is independent of number of electrons or number of protons. In some atoms it may be same, while in others it may be different. It varies from atom to atom, but number of electrons and number of protons, they are always same. Here also you can see, here total 6 negative charges are there and 6 positive charges are there. Here you can see this one, first, second, third, then after that fourth, fifth and sixth negative. Similarly here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 here. So total we can say electron and protons, they are always equal in a particular atom. So this thing you have to keep in mind.